Welcome back to the garage, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I've got a neat little side project I want to bring you guys up to speed on today, but before I do, it's been a hot minute since we've had a video, so I've got a few of my other projects I want to get you guys back up to date on. First and most importantly, let's talk about Ethel. Ethel, unfortunately, is in the exact same condition you guys saw her last. The next couple of phases of this project is going to require some expensive purchases. And with the way 2020 is going, we decided to hold off on that until we're a little more financially secure. But Ethel is still in the works. The Big Block Lightning has not missed a beat. This thing is running strong and has been an important part of what we've been doing lately. This thing is one nasty work truck. And finally, we've still got the F10 535. Car still is making that horrible noise, and I've yet to change that cam cover, but hopefully soon we'll get that project knocked out. So some of you guys may already be asking yourselves, Dickie, why are you wearing overalls and why are you in the middle of the woods? Well, turns out this is home. Not this, well actually that's home, but this is our property. Right around January, we took everything we had and decided to buy the farm. The wife and I were both a little bit tired of city life, traffic and people, and we wanted to have room to expand. And Dickie wanted to get a bigger garage. In fact, right about there is where Dickie's garage is supposed to be right now. But as we all know, 2020 happened, and it's happening. You can see I still got the Corona scruff. It's gonna be on the back burner. We're looking at a 2021 garage now, but before everything went to shit, we did manage to build this. This is, well, was supposed to be the lawnmower shed, but turns out this is the new Dickie's garage, or at least the temporary Dickie's garage. It's pretty good. It's a little better than what we had. We're definitely gonna make the best of it. And that brings us to today's video. What is the single most important thing you gotta own when you have a farm? It's not a tractor, it's something to move your lazy ass to the mailbox and to take the garbage out. In this case, we decided to buy John Deere Gators. No 2x4 nonsense, not even 4x4, but 4x6s. And not one of them, not two of them, but three 4x6 Gators. Now, I picked these all up from the same guy. All three of them are broken in their own little way. The first one was mostly complete. It had an engine swap and still had some electrical problems and bugs keeping it from running. We sorted that one out the next day and had the first Gator up and running. Now the second one is the one we're working on today. It's a little bit of a rusty mess, but I think we're gonna be able to pull it off and do a little Gator rescue. And the third one's gonna be like nothing you've ever seen. The third one doesn't come with an engine. It's got a transmission, a rebuildable chassis, and 6 tires, but I needed something to make it go. Well, conveniently for us, I've got a 600cc Jigster sitting around I don't ride anymore that still runs. Now, I know other people have done similar projects. This is going to be a little different. I'm envisioning sequential shifting, a clutch, and still having reverse and all the creature comforts the Gator had originally. So it's going to be a minute before we get to that one, but for now, let's get back around to Gator number 2 and check this chassis out. I've already done the hard part and pretty much stripped everything off the chassis. It's just like I said, it's a rusty mess. It's going to need some love. So the plan is to actually build a little bit of a substructure and reinforce the rusty bits that are left. There's no way I can save this thing, it's just too far gone, but I can certainly postpone its arrival to its rusty grave. The first thing we got to do is clean it up. I've already stripped everything off the chassis, but now we need to hit it with the pressure washer, see how much of this flaking paint and rust we can get off before we start grinding and welding. I may be a little soggy, but I did get about 90% of the flaking paint off with that pressure washer. So it's a little easier for you guys to see the issues with this chassis now. Check it out. So the front suspension, all these mounting points, they're in pretty decent shape. I don't have an issue there. This is kind of like a trough for all the cables and harnesses and everything that controls the engine. As I go back, this is the chassis. This is the structure part of the frame. And right here, let me show you. Well, that's not a very good show you. You see that movement? That's where this frame has broken all the way through here due to severe rust. The only thing that's really holding this thing together is this little bit of this running board right here, which it's doing it. Somehow or another, it's not broken too yet. With this thing upside down, I can show you guys my plan. So this chassis bit and that chassis bit are good. It's just the middle of this junk, right? So I want to tie some kind of exoskeleton, some type of frame material from here to there. We're going to surface mount it. We're not going to try to cut out all this rust because this is not salvageable. I only want to delay the death, remember? So what I'm going to do is grab some tubing and start cutting it up and see what I can do about getting this back where it's supposed to be. And before we go too far down this road, I just got to say, I am fixing this for my use. This is not something I'm trying to patch and cover and sell. This is farm use, and this is a tool I'm trying to make work. So I don't really care if it's pretty, and I don't care if it doesn't last but a couple of years. A couple of years service is worth a lot out of one of these things for me right now. So the first thing I've done is use my finger meat remover to knock off a little bit more of this rust and add this piece of angle iron right here in this corner. This is going to help it hold its shape while I flip it over and add this frame reinforcement, I think. As soon as I get this thing up on its side, I found another key place where the structure's failed. Right here, I've got two welds that were factory welds that have just rusted through. And I've got some pretty good metal left, so I think I'm going to be able to burn a weld in right there and get this part of the chassis back together. Now we're starting to make some progress. I've got this square tubing I'm using to do this reinforcing. I've already laid these two pieces in to start holding things together. I've got a couple of welds in it. Also, I cut a section out of this big square tubing here and welded it in over this big gaping hole I had here. I got a feeling I'm gonna have to do some more tying in, but that's looking pretty good so far. The next piece I want to put in is right here on this running board. We're going to come out and go back down the frame here and maybe do some cross bracing. Alright, so we've got that side piece completed. I added like a little diagonal brace there just for added support. It doesn't look horrible. I'm working on the second side right now. We're going to tack this piece in, put that diagonal brace in, see how much pipe we got left and where else we may want to reinforce. So using a combination of stitch weld and booger weld, I think I've got it pretty well attached. I think it's time now to flip this thing over and do a little bit of a preliminary torture test to see if it's going to hold. Sounds like a rain stick with all the rust falling through it. All right, so far so good. So far so good. It hasn't broken yet, and I gotta say, it thing feels solid. I don't feel the running board sagging like I did before, so we've definitely made some improvements. Now, will it hold up over time? Probably not, but it's good enough for me. I'm gonna touch up a couple of more places and see if we can't make this thing look a little better. I've been saving this for a water tower, but I haven't been able to find the right one. This is an oil-based enamel we picked up at Tractor Supply. This is Ag Green. I guess that's the cheap way of saying John Deere green without John Deere's attorneys coming after you. But hopefully it's a pretty close match. We've got a thing of hardener here. We're gonna try to figure out how to mix all that up and throw a little color on this bad boy. So I've had some troubles with my paint gun, but I've got the first coat applied. The places that weren't faded or corroded, this is actually a dead nuts match. It's a really good job they did for an economy paint. So I'm going to give it a little bit time to dry. Hopefully this sun will bake this thing pretty quick. We'll be able to flip it over and get the other side of it. Check out that John Deere green. It come out pretty good, if I may say so myself. Plenty good enough for a farm vehicle. With the frame portion out of the way, all I've got to do is wait for this paint to dry, and we're going to be ready to build this Gator back. But I think that's going to do it for this video, guys. As always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Hold on a second. Almost forgot to tell you guys my favorite part of country living. I can make as much noise as I want now. I do love country living.